how can I apply for online jobs even if I don't have any work experience? This is going to be the topic of this video that we're going to have for this episode of Freelance Fridays. Let's go. Now, this video, or what we're going to discuss in this video, is applicable for people who have not worked before, be it in the physical field or in the online field. It's applicable for you if you are a college graduate who recently just left college. It's applicable for you if you have absolutely no work experience. All right, a lot of people feel like for you to be able to work online, you need to have a specific work experience, but in reality, even if you have not worked before, you can still land an online job, and I'm going to show you how. Now, there are a few things that you need to understand about the online work marketplace and what gives you advantages over different applicants. Now, certainly having worked in a different field is going to be helpful if you want to work online as well. Just like, if you were going to apply for a job, let's say at a bank, if you have previous banking experience, then it boosts your chances, right? If you are going to apply for a job at a school, if you have previous teaching experiences, it boosts your chances. However, it doesn't mean that you are not going to be able to land a job unless you have an experience. So I'm going to show you exactly how to go about it. Number one, you want to highlight what you have. What usually happens when you read online job descriptions is you're going to look at all the requirements that the client says they are looking for. They want somebody who can speak very good English, who is attentionate, who has XYZ skills, and who has XYZ years of experience. And what the mistake that people usually do is that they want to fill all the criteria before they can apply for an online job. But here's the reality. 9 out of 10 out of times, you are not going to meet all the criteria for a job. So don't try to make sure that you meet all the criteria. And even if you meet all the criteria, it doesn't guarantee that you are going to have the job. So what I recommend to my students is focus on the criteria that you meet. Focus on what you have. Focus on what you bring. If a job has, for example, 5 key criteria and you meet 3 out of 5, then go for it and focus on those 3 out of 5. Sorry. If the client is looking for somebody who, let's say, is located in the Caribbean, has XYZ typing skills, or has, this degree, if that is the case, or maybe you don't have knowledge of a specific topic, and you're meeting some of the criteria but you don't have the degree, still go for the job. The key here is to focus on what you have and amplify that. By focusing on what you have, you are also helping the client focusing on the skills that you have, and he's not going to focus too much on those that you don't have. Now, if you end up having an interview with that client, it gives you the opportunity to discuss the fact that you don't have the skills or the experience that the client is looking for, since here we are talking about work experience, and you can explain that maybe you haven't worked in that field before, you haven't had an opportunity before, and you are willing to learn and you are willing to take that chance if you are given that opportunity. So number one, focus on the skills that you have, okay? Number two, highlight your volunteer experience. Now, you might not have worked in a field in which you want to land a job online. It can be administrative assistance, it can be virtual assistance, it can be content creation, content marketing, writing, and so forth. You might not have done that work in the past for a company, paid opportunity and whatnot, but if you have volunteer experience in that field, then you need to highlight that, okay? What do I mean by volunteer experience? Let's say we are talking about content, article writing, right? If you want to pitch yourself for an article writing position, if you've never worked with an article writer, or you've never worked for a company, or you've never written for somebody professionally in the sense that you were paid, but have you written essays in the past, okay? Have you written free articles for people? Have you written reports? Have you written reviews? Have you reviewed people's articles? All right, so even if you haven't done it professionally, highlight your volunteer experience because it still counts. And my students in my work online coaching program will tell you that I always tell them everything counts, every skill counts, and everything amounts to the whole thing, that the whole package that you want to offer. So even if you haven't worked professionally in the field, you can highlight your volunteer experience in that field, because for the client, it's going to show them that you have knowledge of the field, and if you are given the opportunity to work in that category, in that field, you are very likely to succeed. All right. The third thing that you can do for you to apply for online jobs, even if you don't have work experience, is creating free samples. Now, let me tell you what I mean. I know that you might be in a situation where you've probably done something and you know you're very good at it, but you haven't had an opportunity to do that, right? Or maybe you did it, but you don't have any tangible evidence of the fact that you did it. Let's take back the example of content writing or article writing, right? If you want to go into the writing category, you can create free samples of articles that can show the client your writing style or the way you approach different topics. Now, if I want to apply for a job as an article writer, most likely at the beginning, I'm open to different types of clients. I can write about, maybe I can go for clients who want articles about science, about biology, about health, about finances, about sports, and so forth, right? So when it comes to creating free samples, you can pick maybe 2 out of 3 of the most popular article writing categories that are out there, or maybe just pick 3 and write a 1-page article on each one of them. What that is going to do is it's going to give the client an idea of your writing style, and it's also going to give them an idea of your skills. Because remember, the advantage of work experience is essentially just showing that you have done it before. And if a client knows and feels that you have done something before, he is more confident and more comfortable allowing you to work with him. But even if you haven't done it, if you can show that you have the skills and the aptitude to do it, then you are still scoring points. All right, so here again, to summarize, 3 things that you can do if you want to apply for online jobs but you don't have the experience in that field. Here are the 3 things. Number 1, focus on your skills that you have. Focus on the positive. If a job posting asks for 5 skills and you only have 2 or 3, focus on those 2 or 3. Number 2, highlight your volunteer experience. Volunteer experience shows that you still have a foot in that skills category, or you still have a certain level of experience even if it wasn't paid. Every skill counts. And number 3, create free samples. Free samples are going to show the client what your style is, or how you will approach the topic or the skills category for the job that you want to go for. By creating free samples, you are able to help the client identify or assess your skill level, build a certain level of trust, and really boost your chances of landing an online job. I hope you found this video helpful, and make sure you subscribe for more tips on how to land your next online job.